board. And we're gonna screen share. And we're gonna go over these. I graded them, but I didn't write anything on them because I was gonna go over it today, so. So the biggest thing was, my instructions said do all of them. Some of you forgot a few. And this is your opportunity to ask questions because you have a test on Friday. So let's start with 20. This was the Athens Club. And we're going to set up the little box first with information that we have. So we have budget, we have actual, we're doing payroll, so we have hours, we have rate, we have total. And with this one, we're going to put customers in here. Okay, so what do we have? We know that the average wage is $8. The variable based on the $8 per hour. Okay. So during the month, wages totaled 17,000 for 2,000 hours. And they served 24,000 customers. Okay, so with this one, we have to fill in a few more things because we got to figure out what our budget is. And so they told us that we are going to do 8 hours, 8-hour shift, times 30 days, times 8 people. Okay, so, and then times the $8. Okay, so if we take that, do the $8 an hour times 8 hours times 8 people times 30 days, comes out to be 19,200.
No, that's the total number of customers.
Right. So that's our customers. And we're supposed to, let me label that.
But that wouldn't be the $8 an hour. That would be the 8 times.
It would be the 8 times the 30 times the 8 people.
Yeah, times the 10 customers per hour. The $8 rate is for the revenue.
Okay.
The hours times the revenue.
So the 8, to do the hours, we're going to do the 8 times the 8 times the 30, right?
8 hours times 8 people times 30 days.
Yes. So that's going to give me my hours.
Okay. That's what I did that you marked correct. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, no, that is right.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, so 8 hours a day times 30 days times 8 people. So that gives us our hours here. which then enables us to find this, which we would multiply by 8 again, and that's the answer that I had. Gives us that. Okay, so that's our total. To go back to the actual rate, what would you do?
1920 times 8. Oh wait, you got that, sorry. Do you want the
Yeah,
other rate?
what I
I
want to
would
fill
do
this one in.
17,000 divided by 2,000.
Okay, and what do you get for your actual rate?
8.5.
Okay, so hour-wise, we're over. Rate, we're over. So for our budget, we're obviously going to be over. Because nothing else that we did was under budget. Okay, so there's our budget variance. So we're supposed to serve 10 customers an hour. So to figure out our customers, we would take our hours and just multiply it by 10. And so that would be our customers that we were budgeted to serve. So obviously, we served 4,800 more customers than we were supposed to. Okay, so is everybody okay with the setup? And then the other thing we should do is figure out our ATAO. So if we had 24,000 customers served, 10 per hour, we should have spent 2,400 hours. Now we're starting to look pretty good. Okay, hang on, move some things around here. I never get a desk that's big enough, and this one's pretty huge. So, okay, so all the variances, I said all the variances, don't pay attention to what they were asking you to do. So we have to do the rate. We have to do the volume. The efficiency, which is the important one. And then the rate volume one. Okay, so since it's the rate, inside the parentheses is always going to be the rate. Since this is a cost, we want the budget to be bigger. So in the parentheses, we're going to do the hourly rate. Budget was 8, actual was 850. And then we always multiply that by the budgeted hours. Keep your fingers crossed. I think it's coming back on. Hopefully. Okay, so that would be our rate variance. Okay, so we knew that wasn't going to be good because we paid 50 cents more an hour. Okay, volume variance. This is where your ATAO comes in. So in your parentheses, it's going to be your budget minus your ATAO. And then we're going to multiply that by the budgeted rate. Okay. Okay, so that one comes out negative also. Efficiency, of course, is the most important one. So in the parentheses, your actual hours compared to the ATAO, which I did it wrong. And then again, times your budgeted rate. So this one is the most important one. Okay. So even though that comes out,
Sorry, shouldn't that be?
yeah, I did it.
Okay.
I was right the first time. Okay. And then rate volume, it's just gonna be 8 minus the 850 times the 1920 minus the 2000. Okay, and that one comes out positive because you have two negatives. All right, let me expand that so that it shows. Okay. All right, questions on those? Okay. Then 21, we had to do the price and the cost ones. So this was 10-20. And this one is 10-21. All right, so let's start with what they give us. All right, so we have food costs and we have revenues. So let's do the revenue here. And I'll do the cost ones over here. So with the revenue, we want the actual to be higher. With the cost, we want the budget to be higher. All right, so let's just go down, putting information that we have. So we have total budget for our revenue is 100,000. Actual was 110. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. Everything came back on. Phew. All right, okay, food cost percentage is 36,000 based on the food sales of 100,000. So then this would be 36,000. So actual food revenue. And then the actual food costs were 40,800. So we have a food cost variance of 4,800, which is simply this minus this. Okay. Number of covers budgeted and actually served. So this is going to go on both of them. Budgeted was 15. Actual was 16. Budgeted is 15. Actual is 16. Okay. Average food service check was budgeted for and the average food service check was actually okay. So now I need to fill in the blanks. All right, so we know that revenue wise, we look pretty good because our actual is more than our budget. Served more customers than budgeted, got a better price than budgeted. So we look good on the revenue side. Cost side is what the concern is. And so what we have to do, and this is what some of you guys didn't do, you have to find the cost per unit. So you're going to take your total and divide by the covers. This has to be per one. So if you divide that out, your budgeted cost would be what? What's the 36,000 divided by 15,000?
2.4.
Thank you. And then you got to do the same thing here with taking the 40,800 divided by the 16,000. And so what was our actual cost?
2.55.
And then now we can do the variances. So your first step is to kind of fill in the little grid. And then it should be pretty easy from right there. So volume, oops, too far. So we know this is our budget variance. And this is our budget over here. And then we got to find the individual ones. For here, we're doing price, volume, price volume. Over here, we're doing cost, volume, cost volume. Okay. So if it's a price variance, that means in the parentheses is price. Since this is revenue, we want the actual to be higher. So we're going to put that first. And then you're going to multiply that by the budgeted other, which in this case is covers. Okay, so that's a good one. We knew these were all going to be good. So volume variance. Now we're looking at the number of covers. Actual first, because this is a revenue. And then multiplied by your budgeted other, which in this case is price. Again, that's a good one. And then we just bring down the parentheses. I just expand that so you can see it. Okay, so those are all favorable. Those we did a good job on everything. We got more money per meal. We served 1,000 more customers than we were budgeted to. And so we made an extra $10,000. So those were good. Where we're not so good is on the cost side. So on the cost side, so since this is your cost variance, we're going to look at, in the parentheses, the cost, but this time because it's an expense, budget goes first. And then we're going to multiply by the budgeted volume. And we know we're not going to look good here because we spent 15 cents more a meal. Okay, volume, again, in the parentheses is now the volume, which is covers. Budget first, because it's an expense. Multiplied by your other, which is your cost. And again, we're not going to look good there. Even though we served 1,000 more people, it comes out negative. And then we just bring down the parentheses. That one again comes out positive because you have two negatives. All right. Questions on, so there is all of your variances. They're all right there. Any questions? The big thing here was make sure you do this per one. When you get ridiculous numbers like some of you had, you should know that you've done something wrong. Okay, make sure your answers make sense. Logic, okay, logically make sense. All right, questions? Okay, then I said, let's do number 9 just to practice an operations budget, just to refresh. And so number 9 was the Waverly Motor Motel. And so this is an annual budget. So we have some room here. We have 75% occupancy. Oh, that looks good. And what else we have? We have 100 rooms. And our ADR is 50. Labor. Variable is $5 per room. And fixed, 100,000. And other expenses are $250 a room. Okay, so we're just doing real short, condensed budget. And it said to presume that she's open 365 days. Okay, so I gotta figure out our sales. All right, so what are we gonna do? How am I gonna do my sales? How am I gonna calculate sales? I'll have to come out and call on somebody? I will. So that I can see who's on. Not very many people. Okay, how do I calculate sales? I can't just not go over it, if that's what you want.
The 100 rooms times 75% occupancy times the $50 ADR times 365 days.
I'm so glad you come. It is so frustrating.
Painful for me too.
Okay, thank you. So, all right, so 100 rooms times the $50 ADR times 75% times 365 days. Okay, so there's our sales. expenses. We know we have labor, fixed of 100,000. And then we have our variable. That didn't work well. Okay, so our variable was $5 a room. So we need to figure out the number of rooms. So how do we figure out the number of rooms?
$100 times 75% times 365.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so that's how many rooms we have. And then the variable costs for labor would be the rooms times the cost per room for labor, which was $5. So that would be our variable cost for labor. And then we have our other, which is still the number of rooms. But now you're going to take the 27,375 times 2.5 to get your other expenses. Okay, and that's all we have. So then you would just add up your expenses. And then find your net income. And again, this is your income before taxes. If we had to do our taxes, we would then do that at this point. Questions? Okay, I'm gonna stop my share. Any questions for the test? All right, well, good luck on Friday. And we're done.
Thanks. Have a good rest of your week.
Thanks. My computer came back on, so I'm good.
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
Back it up now.
Have a
Have a
good
good
one.
rest of your week, all.
Enjoy.
Be right there, Sarah. Let me just get rid of all these people who aren't really here.
Okay.
Okay, got rid of them. Hold on.